Good morning. I have to say morning. I'm in Italy right now, so for me it's evening. Feels a little strange to say morning, but good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 8th annual Changemaker Global Pitch. I'm Annalise Hoops, the founder and executive director of the Changemaker Project. First off, I want to thank all of you guys for being here today to support our amazing changemakers. This event would not be possible without your presence. This year, we have a fantastic lineup of teams from around the world pitching their social impact projects for a chance to win seed funding. First, we'll hear from our high school students, and then we'll have some of our Visionaries Institute fellows presenting their projects. The Visionaries Institute is our new program for adult changemakers who want to make change in their communities, and we have the founders of some amazing budding nonprofits here today that I'm excited for you to meet. Just like last year, for those of you who are returning, audience members can donate directly to teams' projects, ask teams questions in the Q&A, and even sign up to mentor teams that you'd like to support. After each team's pitch, we'll put a link to their GoFundMe page in the chat where you can donate if you choose. Even a $5 donation makes a huge difference for our students. And you may be wondering what happens after Global Pitch. So once the teams get their funding, we support them as they launch and execute their projects over the next 3 months. So we have Zoom calls where students meet with mentors, and those mentors can guide them on their projects and offer them direction and support. So let us know if you're interested in volunteering to mentor a team that you see here today. Finally, on June 1st, we'll have a Changemaker Showcase event where all of the teams will present their finished projects and the impact they've made. Today, we'll have 10 teams projects featured here in the main room, and then we'll divide into a couple of breakout rooms to hear additional pitches. You'll be able to choose which room you join, ask questions to the students directly, and move in between rooms if you'd like. Our wonderful team of volunteers will be facilitating the breakout rooms. Raise your hands. All right. And helping out behind the scenes today. So they are designated as co-hosts in the meeting. So if you need anything during the event, feel free to chat with them and ask for help. In the interest of time and given the size of our group, we'll be keeping everyone on mute most of the time. If you have any questions about the Changemaker project or how things work, I'll stay in the main room after we open the breakout rooms, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. One thing that is different this year, as I mentioned, is a little bit shorter today. So each of our students, each of our pitches is going to be 1 minute rather than 2, as it has been in the past. So the event will be even more fast-paced and exciting than usual. For each team's project, we'll play their 1-minute pitch video, and then we'll have 90 seconds of Q&A. Community supporters will be able to ask questions first in the Q&A and also get first dibs on which teams they'd like to fund. All audience members will also have a chance to fund projects directly through students' GoFundMe pages, which we'll share shortly. If you'd like your donation to be routed through the Changemaker project so that it's tax deductible, you can step up as a community supporter, and we'll talk more about that later on. Once the 10 pitches in the main room are finished, I'll give a short presentation about the Changemaker project to tell you more about what we do, and then we'll open up the breakout rooms for additional pitches. When we come back together, our community supporters will announce which projects they decided to fund. Finally, you'll have a chance to vote for your favorite team in the People's Choice Awards and sign up as a mentor if there's a team that you'd like to support. Now I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, the Pollination Project and Red Oak Realty. The Pollination Project has been funding projects at all 7 of our previous pitches, and I believe you're here with us today. We are so grateful for their generous support. Thank you to the Pollination Project. Now let's say hello to our community supporters. We have Christian, who's joined us for the last several years, as well as Mary and Brent. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting our team's projects. We're so grateful. We also have Doug and Changemaker, our community supporters who you may remember from previous years. They couldn't make it here today, but they will be funding some teams projects as well. Okay, so now that all of those logistics are out of the way, let's get started. So to give you a better sense of what the Changemaker project is all about, I'm going to start by playing a little video for you to show you what we do in the words of our students. So.
The Changemaker Project is a program for young people who want to make a change in their world and go from the process of having even the smallest idea to a fully fledged project by the end of the year.
I have actually realized how huge the spectrum of different issues around the globe is.
As you can see by our 3D model, we have a shape structure.
We are creating an educational video series that will train 3rd through 5th graders.
We came up with this project to tackle the problem of poor sanitary conditions at the dummy market. I can now say that I am a leader and a change maker.
I am capable of more things than I thought I was.
Thanks to the Changemaker project.
If tools such as the Changemaker project meet people who are motivated and capable, that's where change is made.
The Changemaker project has restored my faith in humanity.
And I have a hope for our future.
All right, so that gives you a little bit of a brief overview of what we do. And I'll talk more, like I said, later during our break. So for now, I want to welcome our first team that's pitching today, Health Heroes. So let's give them a hand. All right, I'm going to play their video.
Hi, we're Angelina Vitage
and Della Gonzalez,
and this is our Changemaker. In Uganda, access to healthcare is a daily struggle. With just one doctor for every 2,500 people, many families can't even get basic healthcare.
That's why Simon, a priest, principal, and healthcare provider, founded a clinic in his village. He's committed to serving his community, offering help to people who would otherwise have nowhere to turn.
Right now, Simon's clinic urgently needs equipment to meet registration requirements and provide essential medicines and treatments. Supplies like Band-Aids, gauze pads, ointments, blankets, and even a microscope are critical.
We're raising $4,500 to keep his clinic running. Every dollar you give to our GoFundMe helps Simon continue his life-saving work. And as of now, we've already raised $1,600.
Together, we can make healthcare accessible for everybody in Simon's community. Donate today and be part of this mission to bring hope and healing back to Uganda.
All right, let's give them a hand. Excellent job, Health Heroes. So now who has a question for Health Heroes? I'm going to start my 90-second timer. So let's keep questions concise. Who's got a question? Christian, yes, go for it.
So I saw some of the goods were like what we call durable goods, like blankets, microscope, that are longer term, but a lot of things were like Band-Aids and gauze that are used. What's the plan to make this sustainable? Because they need continuing funding. When they run out of Band-Aids, what's the next plan?
So our initial idea is to start a drive to get first aid kits within like our community, like town. And what we're basically going to try and do is keep raising money for this problem and send over different boxes of supplies, like little by little. So like the first box we'll send over, like, let's say like in March, that's just an estimate. And then the next box we'll send a little later so that he keeps getting more and more, like, and they won't have to worry about running out like very fast.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? You're muted. I think if you're talking, you guys are muted, Health Heroes. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's give them a hand. Great job, ladies. Okay, excellent. So I'm gonna go back to my slides here and we will share our next team.
Hi, we're Angela.
Sorry.
Hello.
Pause with the
cause. We aim to address the animal overpopulation crisis caused by unlicensed breeders and puppy mills in New York.
Unlicensed breeders and puppy mills are major contributors to the domestic animal overpopulation crisis and the main reason why animal shelters are overwhelmed. Overcrowding in shelters affects the quality of the life of the animals as they do not receive proper care. Additionally, puppy mill dogs suffer because they are born in poor conditions and often sold to owners sick and unhealthy. Shockingly, roughly 90% of dogs in pet stores come from a puppy mill.
Our solution is to create a website that educates people on these issues and connects them to local shelters. We will include shocking statistics about the conditions of overcrowded shelters and puppy mills and offer ways to help by including donations and petitions. We plan to promote our site at our school's PTA meeting. We will also start a school drive for shelter supplies and organize a volunteer group in partnership with a school club. To kickstart our drive, we need donations for the following items.
Okay, excellent. Let's give them a hand. Okay, who has a question for Pause with a Cause?
Hello. Hi, my name's Tim. I'm from Byram Hills. And I'm curious if you've been partnering with local shelters and what's their view and are they open to this type of partnership?
So we've been working with the Westchester SPCA for the past, 3 months. And we organized a bunch of Zooms and we're planning on, with the club that we previously mentioned, we're planning on creating a team up to volunteer for the shelter.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Any other questions? Go ahead and speak up if you have a question. Yes, Christian.
The dog beds, are those for at the shelter, or are those also for helping people adopt dogs from the shelter?
Yeah, so we're trying to get those donations for the dogs at the shelter.
Thanks.
Okay. Excellent. Any other questions? Why did you want to do this project?
I can't speak for both of us, but I have a dog, so it hurts to see like dogs that are treated so poorly.
Well, all right, and that's time. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Okay, so let's get to our next team, Neurospicy Justice Warriors. What a name. Okay.
We're going to talk about South Africa's mental health care crisis. We came across these issues by doing empathy interviews, a survey, and our own research. South Africa's mental health care is expensive, difficult to access, stigmatized, and sometimes unwelcoming. 55% of South Africans can barely afford food, let alone appropriate mental health care and medications. Because mental health is seen as a new problem, there aren't enough specialists, and it's not understood. Some South Africans even see mental illnesses as a sign of possession, particularly in traditional groups. Many people we interviewed mentioned that some of their doctors did not listen to them and therefore never got to the heart of the problem. We will host an essay writing competition where students can write about why they feel unseen by professionals. We will then turn this into a pamphlet to hand out to professionals. We are going to raise money as well as awareness through t-shirt designs and sales. We are asking for a total of $350 to cover the costs of this project.
Okay, excellent. Great job. And I know Logan is representing this team today. Is Zoe here as well? Okay, Logan, let's have some questions for Logan. Go for it.
I wondered how you came up with the name.
Oh, it's actually a very funny thing. A friend of mine refers to neurodivergence as being neurospicy, and I thought that is a very entertaining and catchy way of just summarizing our. Sorry, my cat is on my desk at the moment. I apologize. Summarizing the problem at hand and how mental health affects people who are neurodivergent severely, and it just spun out into a mental health thing overall.
Awesome. Any other questions? Go for it. If you have one.
You mentioned the stigma part. How does the essay writing tie into that? Is there something there that can help, or what are you planning to address that stigma?
It is stigmatized. It's seen as it's like not a real problem, and if you're just looking for attention. So we thought that if we can have people tell their stories and explain that it's not a fake problem, and they're not looking for attention, that this is something that's actually affecting them, people will realize it's not just something they made up. It's actually a problem that needs to be addressed. So if people can say, I need this help, or this is a problem that's affecting a lot of people, it's not just some newfangled idea to get attention or something like that.
Okay, excellent. That's time. Great job, Logan. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll go back to our slides. Our next team.
Hi, my name is Danny, and I'm Taylor, and we're Silent No More. School is supposed to be a safe haven where students reach their full potential. Unfortunately, schools are being targeted for mass shootings. We aspire to advocate for the safety of our students and teachers nationally. 80% of school shooters got their guns from their homes because parents weren't locking up their firearms appropriately. We aim to bring parents' awareness to this enduring issue and advocate for the New York State gun lockup law. We plan to educate parents about the risks of owning a gun and leaving it unlocked. We also want to raise money to distribute gun locks at local gun stores. We are asking for $100 to help us finance our project. With this money, we will buy advertisements for our Instagram account, as well as purchase gun locks for our community. We will also be creating an online PSA that we hope schools will post on their websites. Thank you for your consideration. We truly want to make a difference, and we believe with this project we can do so.
Right, awesome job. Let's give them a hand. Okay, who has a question for Silent No More?
What team was that?
Sorry, my son is talking. I wondered if you could talk a little bit more about what research you did into how to lobby and sort of your plan on how to lobby for this particular legislation.
Yeah, so we're partnering with Everytown, which is a gun organization, an anti-gun organization that promotes gun safety and kind of promotes just like knowledge all around surrounding gun safety. And actually in April, Taylor and I are going to Albany with Everytown to advocate for the New York State gun lockup law, which is really interesting. So we've definitely had many conversations with Everytown about what we can do and how we can make a difference in our community, because it is a very difficult problem and hard to solve.
Okay. Other questions?
Quick question. What's the cost of one gun lock?
They're really, really inexpensive. They're ranging from anywhere from like $4 to like $6. They're really cheap.
Okay, great. Yeah, seems like a effective way to keep a gun safe.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Congratulations. Awesome job. Okay, so we'll move on to our next team, which is Grace in Action.
Homelessness is a growing issue in our community and neighboring areas.
Shelters are overwhelmed and unable to meet increasing demands for support.
Massachusetts has a total of 15,507 homeless individuals, including 9,976 in family units. We're addressing this issue by assembling care packages filled with essential items like toiletry, socks, and snacks to distribute to local shelters. During conversation with shelter staff, we learned that the rising demand for help has put immense pressure on their resources, leaving many individuals without basic necessities.
This package will provide immediately relief by ensuring the individual have access to essential supplies. At the same time, we hope to collaborate with shelters to keep providing quarterly donations of essential items for those in need.
We're requesting $1,000 to create 100 care packages, each costing $9.
This covers everything: bags, toiletries, socks, snacks, first aid kits, and reusable water bottles. Your support will allow us to make a real impact starting right now.
All right. Some job, Grace in Action. Who has a question for them?
I just wondered where you're located, and if you could talk a little bit about how this has affected your community.
Hi, yeah. Thank you so much for that question. We're located in Massachusetts, and recently we had an increase in homelessness, especially like in the areas near Boston. And so with this project, we hope to help shelters because there's such an increase in homelessness in the shelters that they don't have enough resources for everyone that comes to the shelters for help. So yeah, thank you so much for that question.
Awesome. Other questions? Yeah.
Not a question, but a comment. I want to say it's great that you're doing reusable water bottles in the kids. That's great. I like that.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Audience members, you're welcome. Participants, you're welcome to ask questions.
Yes, I had a question. Have you looked into any sort of programs for providing jobs for homeless?
So with our project, we wanted to be able to make it more like aid-based. I think in the future, we hope to like partner up with organizations that would help them more like sustainable. But for right now, we're doing more like aid, like straight impact.
Great. Okay, wonderful job. All right. So next up is climate changer. Here we go.
I'm Avni from Climate Changer, and ever since I was little, I've always loved the environment. In fact, my name even means Earth. So when I heard that the US is responsible for 25% of global health sector gas emissions, I knew something had to be done. The worst contribution to medical waste is single-use disposable instruments and attire. I'm hoping to help hospitals switch to more sustainable tools, or promoting iSustain, an organization that focuses on making surgeries more sustainable. To do this, I've requested access to a local hospital to see the waste produced firsthand. Then, I will research more sustainable products to replace the problematic tools. Using my research, I will inform medical professionals and everyday people through social media. I'm requesting $100 for promotion on social media so that everyone can see how medicine affects climate change. We are seeing climate change destroy lives, from the LA wildfires to the hurricanes we saw in late 2024, and we must do something about it. I hope that together we can create a more sustainable future, one hospital at a time.
All right. Wonderful job. Who has a question for Climate Changer?
I just wondered if you could talk about what the alternatives are, if you found any in your research.
So some of the alternatives that I was looking at were reusable gowns, which means that instead of just disposing it after one time, you would wash it and then it could be used again. And another thing is just reusing like scalpels and other tools rather than
Sorry about that. Keep going.
rather than just disposing of them immediately.
And just a follow-up, do you have an idea of the safety? Like, is that the concern or is it the resources for hospitals?
A lot of times it's just more convenient because a lot of companies switch to using single-use tools because they could make more profits from it. So they would just need, it's like harder to find, but like reusable tools, but there are still companies that are working to promote them.
Do you know why the US is so wasteful compared to other countries in this sector?
I think the main motivation is just money because when things are single use, you're constantly buying more things to replace them. So when they're reusable, you only buy them once and it lasts a long time. So I think that's why.
Interesting. Okay, and that's time. Great job. Okay, so we're moving to our next team, which is educating teenagers.
For my project, I've decided to focus on domestic violence in teenagers because it's an issue that's incredibly terrifying and sad. Teenage domestic violence is especially awful because it's really hard to recognize abuse in a teenage relationship. Through my empathy interview and research, I've learned that most teenagers A. cannot recognize an abusive relationship, and B. don't know what to do once they realize that they have been abused. For my solution, I'd like to create a social media account that educates about teenage domestic violence. Teenagers know the way around technology and social media, and that's where they get a lot of their information from. Because of this, I believe that a social media account that gives information on how to recognize an abusive relationship would be a good way to reach out to teens. With my account, I promote organizations that work to end domestic violence and help survivors. I'd also like to tell the stories of survivors on my account to give teens a first-hand account of what domestic violence is like. Furthermore, I'd like to create a lesson plan for my school's health class that teaches these same topics. This is another good way to speak to teenagers and connect with them. This project won't require a lot of money, so I'm only asking for $100 to promote my posts on social media. Thank you so much.
Okay, wonderful job. And Amelia, are you here?
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
Oh, good. So glad you made it. Okay, who has a question for Amelia?
I'll go. So the target is to teach teens about domestic violence for any age, or is it also related to like younger people suffering from violence?
My main goal is to reach teenagers and like young, like around like 13 to like 18. But if it reached older audiences or younger audiences, that would be amazing as well. But my main idea was that because teenagers do get a lot of information from social media and online, that's how I could reach them, like an easy way to reach teenagers.
Okay, great. We have a question from the audience. What made you choose this issue?
I mean, I've always like wanted to, like, I don't want to say beat. I've always been interested in this issue, but I remember last year I read a book that made me really interested in this issue. It was really terrifying the way the story was told. The girl who was abused was not believed, and I just went, wow, like this is really happening. I want to make a difference. Like I want to help with this. So I'd say probably that book.
Amazing. What was the book?
It was called Grown by, I think, Tiffany D. Jackson was the author.
Great. Wonderful. Well, great job. Okay, and our next team is from our Visionaries Institute. And here's our video.
Hi everyone, I'm here to tell you about an exciting new feature that Food EDU would love to bring to you this new year. All around us, especially with the recent forest fires in LA, we understand that the impacts of climate change are real and happening right now. A positive thing is that people are learning more and more that food can be used as a tool to fight climate change. Okay, so what if we could see the impacts that our food choices have long-term on the environment? With a click of a button, a user-enabled tracking system would allow for users to calculate and actually store the impacts that they have with their food choice. I have no doubt that this footprint tracker will not only motivate people to try new alternatives, but also stick with them. This is something I see growing and can hopefully inspire friendly competition between classmates, friends, and family. Now, this may take time to integrate fully into our site, and this is the estimated cost, but we are so dedicated and very excited to bring this tracker to life. So stay tuned, Fuku EDU's tracker can be on its way to a classroom near you.
All right, great job, Alina. Okay, who has a question for Alina? And you can go ahead and put your questions in the chat if you like, audience members.
I just wondered if you could tell us a little more about how you became interested in it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I actually have gone to my master's program in environmental science. So that's kind of where it started out. I've done a lot of climate change, investigations, and through different internships learned about the impact that food, specifically agriculture, has on the environment. So with that, I was very surprised and then wanted to teach my community. I actually joined with some people to generate classes and reach other college students. So that has grown into developing a website. And now with the website, I want people to know how they can actually make changes and why those changes matter.
Wonderful. Other questions for Alina?
Do you think it would be possible to kind of create a footprint of school lunches, so students could see like today's versus yesterday's lunch?
Right, that's a great idea. I know there's a lot of great, organizations like Cafeteria Culture that target school lunches specifically. So I would hope that this particular tracker could be applicable to that or any other food item that is, embedded in the code.
Amazing, and that's time. Great job, Alina.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so our next team is another member of our Visionaries Institute, Crystal with Holistic Wellness and Health.
Greetings, I'm Crystal Foreman from Holistic Wellness and Health, where we help people live a healthier and compassionate life through plant-based cooking classes, therapeutic gardening, and wellness workshops. Our 4-week plant-based living program meets online and in person and combines education with practical tools. Each week focuses on a theme discussing the health, environmental, and animal impacts of the dairy, egg, sea life, and land animal industries. We also include social justice issues connected to health and the environment. We'll engage in cooking demos and explore vegan products while gaining support through a vibrant online community. We're continuing our success by reaching out to a new audience. We're asking for $500 support toward the food budget so that we can inspire people to live well and make a positive impact one bite at a time. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, wonderful job, Crystal. Who has a question?
I was curious, I'm vegan, so I love this project, but I was curious, are you targeting people who you hope will become vegan, or is it more like just trying to make smaller shifts for a lot of people towards more plant-based foods? And how do you find your audiences?
So both. My goal is to help people transition to a vegan lifestyle, but I do it in a non-judgmental and compassionate way. So I'm mostly introducing them to healthy plant-based food, but I'm also like each week we're focusing on a different theme so that they develop the empathy, the compassion to think about more than just what's on their plate, but like what they're wearing, what's going on in their overall environment. I'm reaching out to mostly people who are not vegan and who are not plant-based, but I'm hoping that those who are will bring friends or at least tell them about it. And sorry, your other question?
Oh, just how you are finding your audiences.
Yes, so I have a newsletter. I am on social media as well, and I've also partnered with Urban Life Center, and that's where I'll be actually hosting the workshops for the in-person. They're letting me host it for free. And then I am partnering with Project Harmony for an Earth Day event, and they're helping me promote as well.
All right, that's time. Great job, Crystal.
Thank you.
Okay, and our last team here in the main room is another Visionaries Institute member. And here we go.
My name is Felipa, and I've always been inspired by stories. I believe that sharing knowledge isn't just powerful, it's essential for creating a more sustainable and connected future.
In rural Portugal, youth are leaving their villages for better opportunities. Meanwhile, elders are left behind, isolated and lonely. At Três Vivas, we aim to bridge generations to revive rural life. Elders can share their stories, skills, and traditions with young people, while youth brings fresh ideas, modern techniques, and entrepreneurship.
Hey, wonderful job, Felipa. Who has a question for Felipa?
This is a fascinating project. And the video was so wonderfully done. I wondered what the format would be if youth are leaving and they're not in the same place. Are these in-person workshops, or how would you kind of bring them together?
Thank you. That's a great question. So actually, our goal is to reach them before they leave. So while they're still in school, so joining high schoolers and the elders to then be able to create these opportunities so that they can then transform into small businesses and entrepreneurship. That way they can stay rooted.
Wonderful. Can you tell me your favorite part of the project so far?
Yes, so I really love stories and I really love connections. So I think my favorite part is to actually see beautiful connections flourishing between youth and elders and creation, really. New skills, new crafts. That's been, I think, my favorite part.
Amazing. Anything else you want to share about your project for 10 seconds?
Sure. So I think that true intergenerational exchange happens when both youth and elders feel like their contributions matter. So the
Amazing. Okay, perfect timing. Let's give a big hand to everybody that presented just now. Amazing presentations, guys. Wow, incredible. Okay, so I'm going to give a short break to our community supporters. You guys can step away and think about all the pitches you saw and think about who you might want to donate to, while I give some slides about the Changemaker project to tell you a little bit more about what we do. All right, so okay, at the Changemaker project, we believe in the power of youth to create change in the world. We give youth the tools, mentorship, and funding and skills that they need to make a meaningful impact. So a lot of youth really care about social justice. They want to make change in the world, but they don't always know where to begin in terms of making change. I know I feel that way oftentimes too. So what we try to do is give youth a pathway where they get all the tools, mentorship, and funding that they need to actually make a meaningful impact on an issue that they care about. So we start by teaching youth about a variety of issues, social, racial, and climate justice issues, through an interactive curriculum. For every issue we present, we always highlight a featured change maker to give them role models to look up to. We then introduced Stanford's design thinking process, which is really empathy driven. So they go out into their communities, they do empathy interviews with folks who are affected by the problem firsthand, so they can really understand what are the needs behind the issue, so that they don't just come up with a solution that they think is really great, but doesn't actually meet the needs of their community. Next, we integrate a variety of leadership development lessons to try to help youth cultivate vision, confidence, initiative, empathy, and resilience so that they walk away from our program feeling confident that they can make change in the world. Of course, once a year, we have our Global Pitch event in February where teams get to present their ideas for funding. And after that, the students get to implement their projects. So whatever that project looks like, we pair them with mentors to support them as they implement their projects. At the end of the year, we have a Changemaker Showcase event where students get to present their final projects for a chance to really just be recognized, not for a chance to win funding, that's Global Pitch, but just to be honored and celebrated for the hard work that they've made. So all of the students you see here today will also be here on June 1st presenting their finished projects and what they've accomplished. Over the years, we've engaged a global community of changemakers in over 35 countries, and we're so grateful to be able to do this work and to have students be able to interact with one another and really expand their perspectives by forming cross-cultural friendships with other changemakers. All right, so if you are thinking, wow, this is such a cool organization, I really want to help empower these changemakers, what can I do? Good news, there's a lot of things you can do. So first off, you can donate to our team's projects here today. And perhaps Maya could put in the chat, maybe you already did, the link with all the team's pages. So you could actually donate to one of the teams. They all need your support. You could even mentor a team that you saw today. So it just requires about 4 1-hour Zoom calls to support them over the next 3 months as they execute their projects. And you can learn more on our website, and Maya will put in the chat as well our link to become a mentor. You can refer us to your CSR marketing team regarding sponsorship. So for example, Red Oak Realty, who's sponsoring this event today, came through word of mouth through one of our donors who works at Red Oak Realty and connected us. So those connections really make a difference for us. If your company does any kind of corporate giving or sponsorships, we would love to connect with them. You can also join our fundraising advisory board, help us with fundraising in general. Lastly, you can sponsor a Changemaker, and many folks on our call today are our monthly donors. So we offer scholarships to make the Changemaker project accessible for students in Title I schools and low-income areas. And your sponsorship of $10 a month or more allows a student to participate in our program with a scholarship. So sign up today to empower a changemaker. Maya will put that link in the chat. You can sign up as an activist, donating just $10 a month, which is the price of, I don't know, 1.5 coffees these days. Just giving that little bit really helps us to sustain our work. Of course, you can give more, and we really appreciate your support. All right, another thing that you can do, as I mentioned, is you can directly support our teams that are here today. So if you look at the website of projects, which I think Maya has shared, maybe you can share it once more, Maya, you'll see each team's video and their description. So if you hover over, if you click the title of their project, that will take you to their GoFundMe page where you can actually directly donate to their page. All right, and we really appreciate your support. If you're interested in funding multiple teams for a total of $250 or more, you can become a community supporter. And what that means is that your donation gets funded through the Changemaker project, which makes it 100% tax deductible. You get to choose which projects you fund, and then we fund them for you. So just email us with the names of the teams you'd like to support, hello@thechangemakerproject.org. Maybe you could put that also in the chat, Maya. And you can go ahead and just let us know if you're interested in becoming a community supporter. All right, and finally, a thank you to our sponsors, the Pollination Project, who's been with us for the last 8 years funding projects. We so appreciate you guys, and Red Oak Realty. So let's give a hand to our sponsors. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, so now we are going to open up our breakout rooms. So we're going to have 2 rooms, and you'll get to choose which room you're part of. And I can also help you if you need help. We're going to have room 1 and room 2. It'll be very simple. And we're just going to have, let's see, 10 minutes for breakout rooms. And we'll have Christina and Maya leading those. So let me know if you need help. I'm going to open up the rooms. So you should be able to navigate down in the Zoom window. where it says breakout rooms, and you'll be able to find the breakout room that you would like to join. All right, everybody, welcome back. So I have just been able to check in here and there with a couple of teams in each room, but you guys did such an amazing job. Wow, let's give a hand. Let's everybody unmute if you can to give one giant round of applause to everybody that pitched today. Amazing job, you guys. So incredible. Wow. All right, so we are almost wrapping up now. Apologies for any technical difficulties that were experienced. I think there were a few. Apologies for that. And thank you for your patience and understanding. So I wanted to open up our People's Choice Award now so that people have a chance to actually vote for your favorite team. Okay, so I'm going to launch this poll right now, and you should get a prompt to participate. All of our teams are in there, so you can choose whichever one you think is the best, the most impact, the best presentation, that's really going to make a difference. And maybe Christina or Maya, could you share just one more time the link for students to get funding, the link of all the project pages, because they need your help, right, to make these projects a reality. So if you could donate even $5 to a team, we would be so, so grateful. Right, teams? Okay, amazing. So while everybody's doing the People's Choice Award, I want to invite our community supporters to speak up about who they wanted to fund. So I want to start with the Pollination Project. You're here, Amelia. Would you like to share?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us here today. I'm excited to be representing the Pollination Project, and we're so happy to get to support the amazing work that you all are doing. Yeah, we saw such amazing presentations today. Thank you, everyone. I'm representing the team, and a few of the projects that we were really excited to fund were Silent No More, Climate Changer, Holistic Wellness, Raíces Vivas, The Living Roots, and Education First. All the projects were fantastic, but those were some of the standouts for us.
Amazing. Thank you. Let's give a hand to those teams. Great job, everybody. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to the whole Pollination Project for your support over the years. We couldn't do this without you. All right. So next up, I want to spotlight Mary and Brent. Are you guys here? You want to share which projects you decided to fund?
Yeah, we have two separate community supporters here. So one of them was very excited about Silent No More, climate change, and educating teenagers. And then
Is that Robert?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Dad.
And then the other ones that we wanted to contribute to, though unfortunately we can't fully fund some of these, were Pause with a Cause. My 9-year-old son was very excited about that one. Holistic Wellness, Footprint EDU, and Hope for NYC.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much to my generous family, Mary, Brent, and Robert. You guys are amazing. Okay, and Christian, what about you?
So I'm here on behalf of Gina and me. And
yes, Christian and Gina. Gina in spirit.
As always, they're very cool projects. I love how some of them are environment, some of them are people, poverty. Some of the ones that we want to contribute to are health heroes, neurospicy justice warriors, Silent No More. I love the fact that gun locks can be $4 or $5 a piece, so I think that's great. Climate changers, just looking at that huge health medical waste part. Footprint EDU, I love the idea of the competition between classmates, that's great. Holistic health and wellness, just so all round with animals, climate and environmental justice and health. And then Hope for NYC and housing greatness.
Amazing, Christian. Wow, so many projects. Let's give them a hand. Christian and Gina, thank you so much for your support. You guys are incredible. Wow. And like I said, Changemaker and Doug, our other community supporters, couldn't be here today, but they're going to be funding projects as well this week. So stay tuned for some exciting updates on your GoFundMe pages. It's going to be great. And now we are almost at time. So I just want to share one more time the link to become a mentor, if you don't mind, Maya, or Christina. I think if Maya's not still here. If you have, a couple hours to spare on Zoom, these kids could really use your support. So please sign up to be a mentor. And yeah, I want to now share the results, drum roll, of our People's Choice Award. Let me find them. Okay. All right. Are you guys ready? The winner of the 2025 People's Choice Award is, everybody unmute, Health Heroes. Beautiful job, ladies. Awesome job. You guys want to say thank you? You guys were incredible. You're doing such good work. Do you want to share a little bit?
So what really inspired us to do this project was when Father Simon came to our school and he presented to us about his community, and he shared a story about this 14-year-old girl who was pregnant, and while she was giving birth, she unfortunately passed away giving birth, and that story really stuck with us, and we thought that funding Simon's clinic could really make a difference, because in his community, it's the closest hospital is a very far travel for them. So it will make such a difference for his community and other communities around them if they have the materials at their health facility. So it could save so many lives.
I voted for Health Matters. And one of the reasons I voted for them is because I know they've already made a difference. I was with my nephew just yesterday, who just got back from Uganda, and he told me how important your work is in the local area. And you should be very proud of the work you've already done. And people are just so happy to see people around the world caring about them like you guys are. So I'm going to donate more money.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gilbert.
All right, let's give them a hand. Awesome job, ladies. Keep going. All right, so I know we're at time. I just want to say a couple quick thank yous. I want to thank once again our sponsors, the Pollination Project and Red Oak Realty. We couldn't do this without you. We're so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of our community. Well, let's give a hand to our sponsors. I always forget. Let's give them a hand. I want to thank all of our community supporters. Mary, Brent, Robert, Christian, Changemaker, and Doug. Let's give them a hand. Thank you so much for funding so many projects so generously this year. We're incredibly grateful for you. I want to thank all of our donors who give every month to the program. And I also want to give a big shout out to people who donated today. Raise your hand if you donated today to a project, or you're going to donate today to a project. All right, let's give you a hand. You're making these projects possible. You guys are amazing. All right, I want to thank all of our teachers. Raise your hand if you're a teacher on the call. All right, our teachers are what make this program possible day in and day out. They are teaching the kids, they are supporting them on their projects, they are following up with them and getting those pitch videos perfect. You guys are amazing. Thank you, teachers. Any mentors on the call today? I know Christian is here. Anybody else? Let's give a hand to our mentors and to anybody who signs up to become a mentor today. We need you. I want to thank our interns, our volunteers, Maya and Christina. Let's give them a hand for running those breakout rooms so beautifully and dealing with all the technical difficulties we had. Great job, ladies. I want to thank all of our parents for supporting your students in all of the hard work that they've done over the last few months and the hard work that they will continue to do. You guys are shaping their futures and helping them to be change makers. Great job, parents. Oh, and happy birthday to Alina. Forgot about that. It's Alina's birthday today. Let's give her a hand. Okay, and finally, I want to thank our students and congratulate our students for being here, for showing up, for all the amazing work you guys are doing in the world. You guys give me hope, even in the darkest times, right? And I'm so incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Let's give them a hand, everybody. Okay, and that is all for Global Pitch 2025. 3 minutes over, not too bad, right? Okay, so feel free to stay if you have any questions, if you want to talk to the teams more, we'll be here, but thank you so much, you guys. We really appreciate you coming and supporting our teams. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.